So we already talked about the most difficult day as a motivational speaker, and I think a couple of other things come to mind, like maybe the funniest thing that ever happened to me as a motivational speaker, and I would say it was early on in my career. I'd already done my very first paid job, and I was asked here locally in Walnut Creek, California, to do an hour-and-a-half speech for no money on being a great listing agent, which is, listing people's properties. Well, the class was to be, I set the class up to be a 3-hour class, and I was going to deliver some extra information, and I figured that after about an hour and 15 minutes, I would give the class a break to use the restroom, and then I would finish up the class. Well, sure enough, the first break comes, and the class, coincidentally, and we still to this day don't know why, was majority women. And sure enough, on the first break, I had a lady who was English, she had an English background and spoke with an English accent, come up to tell me that my zipper had been down during the first hour and 15 minutes of the class. And she said that it was tough for the students to concentrate on my speaking and the stuff that I was delivering while my zipper was down, and would I please correct that situation. So sure enough, when the class resumed 15 minutes later after the bathroom break, I couldn't help but say something. So, I think we had 40 people in the class, give or take a few. And I said, hey, I've been standing up here for an hour and a half speaking to you about becoming a great listing agent, and I'm asking how many of you actually heard what I said, since I was standing up here with my zipper down the whole time. And of course the crowd erupted, and the 40 people erupted in laughter, because a lot of them did not know. But self-deprecation like that is always good as a motivational speaker. I think the other thing that I want to say is that there was a class that I taught once for the very first time in Austin, Texas, and this isn't a funny moment, but for me it was a very moving moment. And we're taught as instructors never to tell your class that this is your first time doing it, because it elicits sympathy, not certainly during the class. So I taught a whole 2-day course. It was a leadership course for people running real estate offices. And of course I do my last hour and a half of that whole course is on motivation, inspiration, self-help, that type of thing. So we got done at the end of day 2, and I finished up, and I sort of bowed my head and I said, thank you very much. And as I lifted my head, the whole room had stood up to give me a standing ovation, and then lined up, every person in the room, men and women, there was 113 people in the room, lined up, men and women, to come up and give me a hug. And there was no dry eye. I was bawling my eyes out. It was a very moving moment for me, and it's something I'll never forget, because I think it's important, if nothing else, that once you deliver the material, that they absorb it, but that you touch them here and here. That was my moving moment in motivational speaking.